Hey there, creators and VR enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Sigma Engineering channel. Today, we are going to explore the world of virtual reality. We will dive into programs like Unity, Blender, and explore the world of 3D modeling. Get ready for an exciting multi-part series as we unleash your creativity. Throughout this series, we'll guide you through creating an immersive VR scene in Unity. With this skill, you can create things like VR resumes, VR trade show booths, and even apply it to larger digital projects. So whether you're a game developer, artist, or simply curious about VR, this is just the beginning of our journey together. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Let's jump in. Alright, first things first, we want to go to the MetaQuest 2 website and install the Oculus software on our computer. And then we're going to want to go through the setup process and set up our Quest 2 headset device. If it's your first time setting up a MetaQuest 2 or Oculus Quest 2, you're going to want to follow the on-screen instructions and set up your boundary, etc., etc. If you're going to do Oculus Quest Link with a USB cable, you're going to want a good USB-C cable, and I'll put a link in the description below of one that works very well. And if you're going to do wireless Oculus Air Link to link with your Oculus headset, you're going to want a good Wi-Fi 6 router. The typical router just won't work. You need something more modern using Wi-Fi 6 technology to have it work correctly. So for my boundary, I just did a stationary boundary, and once I'm in, I connected via USB here, and I'm just going to allow USB connections. And if that doesn't show up, just go to settings, and there is a setting to fix that. But I really just wanted to show in the apps, if I go to unknown sources, I did sideload some custom-made apps from Unity here. So I just wanted to show this example app on what we're going to make in this video today. Basically, it starts off with a company logo, your choice here, and then we have a virtual environment. We have a 3D avatar, some hands, and we can, teleport around the floor. I actually took a 3D LiDAR scan from an iPhone 13 and put it in here as well. So we're going to learn how to do that in this video series. Also going to learn how to do nerfs as well, and we'll talk more about that in future videos. So we have a 3D scan in here, we have a virtual room, virtual environment, and we've also added video functionality. So if you have some kind of portfolio video or a company video, you can put some play, pause, stop buttons here. You can put a TV on the wall and just have some more interactivity in your 3D environment. We're going to show you how to do that as well. And of course, all this is running straight on my headset right now. This is not running from a PC, but in the tutorial video today, we're going to actually just make an executable file on a PC that will run on your Oculus Quest, so it's compatible with multiple devices, including the Vive and other devices. But of course, that 3D environment wouldn't be possible without Blender. Blender is where we, imported our LiDAR scan from our iPhones, where we set up our virtual environment and we imported it into Unity. And then through Unity, we developed a VR program, which was running in Android on our Oculus Quest 2 headset. I'll put a link in the description below to another video I did on a full installation and startup tutorial with Blender. But there are other videos on YouTube too, which I'll recommend, and I'll throw those in the description as well, such as making Blender donuts. And last but not least, we need Unity 3D. We need a program to create our 3D environment and compile our program that we can run on our Oculus Quest or similar headset. It's free. There is different pricing, so if you work at a company, they have Unity Pro with a lot of advanced features that we won't cover in this video. There's also Unity Plus. It's about $400 per year per seat. However, it is free again, but if you are a student, you get some extra features. So if you do have that .edu email, I definitely recommend setting up an account prior to downloading just to get those extra features. Once Unity is installed, you're going to see your projects you have, you're going to see your installs, and there's going to be different Unity versions that you can install and have on hand. So if you need to, update a previous, development project you had from a previous install, you can do that through the Unity Hub. So we have all the applications we need to get started. However, I do want to touch on setting up developer mode in the Oculus Quest environment. And so when you're setting up your Oculus Quest 2, it should ping you to install the phone app. And this phone app will enable you to connect to your Quest 2 and change settings, manage apps, etc. You can even stream to your phone with this app. So I'm expecting you to have already done this, but I do want to touch on this and setting up developer mode before we get started. So with your Meta account or your Facebook account, whatever you've used to log into your Meta Quest, you're going to want to go to developer.oculus.com, and you're going to want to manage your account and create a developer account for that login that you have on your Meta Quest. So I already have a developer account, so I'm just going to log in with my usual credentials, but I am going to have to set up some two-factor authentication and some other stuff, because that is now a requirement for having a developer account through Meta. So when you're setting up your developer account, you're going to have to give yourself an organization name, and once this is done, you're just going to have to do a two-factor authentication setup or add a credit card. Definitely opt for the two-factor authentication just to verify your account. After some simple two-factor authentication, you should be good to go, and developer mode should be enabled. And you'll see that your login is now a verified Oculus developer account, but now we have to go to our phone app and enable developer mode on our headset itself. As a quick side note, as of August 2023, Meta is going to require that you verify your business to keep your developer account to enable you to post apps to the App Store. This doesn't affect you if you're just doing side loading with stuff like SideQuest, but I just want to put that out there. If you're looking to put apps on the App Store, you do have to have a verified business. I assume some sort of LLC type situation going on, and you have to present that paperwork to Meta in order to verify your developer account. This is outside the scope of this video, but I just wanted to share that information so folks know that this is something that's coming. So you should have already downloaded the Meta Quest app from your App Store, whether you're on Android or Apple. This should be very much the same. And then you're going to log in to your Meta account through the app, and it's going to connect to your Oculus Quest headset. Once that is complete, there is a settings function that you're going to want to look at. And within that settings function, you're going to want to enable developer mode. And this is only possible to the phone app. I tried looking through the desktop app and other things, and I don't think it works with anything else. So I'm pretty sure you have to have the phone app in order to enable developer mode on your device. With developer mode enabled, we can go to things like SideQuest, sidequest.com. You can create an account here, download the SideQuest app, just click on Get SideQuest, and you can have SideQuest within your Quest 2 or on your computer with the advanced installer. I recommend getting the advanced installer, and there is ample videos on how to set this up through their website. So I'm not going to cover that in this video, but I will say that if you're interested in taking your VR game and just sideloading it onto your Quest 2, definitely get this app. But of course, we're going to do both, right? We're going to make one executable file, and then we're going to do one through SideQuest. So to get the VR files that you need for this video, I'm going to direct everyone to Unity Learn. They have something called Create with VR, and they have a VR ready package you can download and use in Unity to get started. And I'm going to reference that a lot in this series of videos. If you're an educator, a teacher, there's also a syllabus and lesson plan that comes with this learning platform here with this specific course. That's called Create in VR, and objectives of this course are to create a VR room that's interactive, and this is done on a Oculus Quest or similar platform. But again, we have everything we need now, all the applications. Make sure that your Oculus Quest or similar device is connected. I'm connected to mine via Airlink, not the USB, so I am actually connecting via my Wi-Fi 6 router. And once that is set up, I'm going to make sure I download the files from Unity Learn, and then I'm going to open them as a project in the Unity app. So while we have the Unity Hub open, just click Open and Add Project from Disk, and then direct it to the Unity Learn files that you downloaded, the Create with 3D, and we'll link those in the description below so you can download that yourself. I'll also link my GitHub where I have several VR example projects that you can download and play with in Unity. So this is the VR room project. You're going to see that it was built in a older version of Unity, And so it's going to tell me, hey, do you want to download that old version of Unity? I'm going to say, sure, why not? Install that old version. You can upgrade that project to the newer version, but sometimes that can produce errors. So even if you're downloading some VR projects from my GitHub, just make sure that you try to run them in the same environment that they were made in. Once you have the project open in Unity, you're going to see a 3D environment and UI that maybe looks familiar. It looks a bit like Blender, right? You can move around with the arrow keys, you can use the middle mouse button to pan, right mouse click to look around, and you're going to see assets and packages, everything that was included in that download in the bottom of the screen, and then you're going to see active objects in the top left of the screen. So this is what's in the current environment. And it's also going to tell you something about, hey, you can download a new version here, but I'm going to ignore that because I want to work in this older version of Unity as this project was made in that older version. So if we click on Window in the top of the screen there and we go to Package Manager, we can see packages that are included in this specific project. So we're going to see stuff like the Oculus XR plugin, the Open XR plugin, which enables it to work on things like the HTC Vive, and we're also going to see some XR Interaction Toolkit and plugin management packages, which are useful for enabling us to work in VR. And we can actually select, instead of in project, the Unity registry at the top and look at all the available plugins that you could use in this project if you wanted to. So depending on what headset you're making this on, you're going to want that specific plugin so your project is compatible with your headset. For us, if you have an HTC Vive, Oculus, or something similar, this will definitely work for most XR headsets. Obviously, if you're doing something like the new Apple headset or even a Microsoft HoloLens, you're going to have these specific packages to enable your Unity program to work with that headset. So in our next video, I will be sure to walk through more Unity controls. This video is really focused on just getting things set up, but basic Blender type controls work here, and most of it is kind of intuitive. So you can use your arrow keys to move around, right click, left click in the window to pan the cameras, etc. And on the bottom here, you're going to see all of the stuff that you've downloaded, your project console. You're going to see all the assets that come with this Unity package. So I'm going to direct you to the scenes folder, and you're going to see a scene that's called Create with VR. And once you load it up, you'll see a gray floor and your XR rig in the middle. And the XR rig is basically where your camera and your headset will start when you start in this scene. And think of a scene like a level, right? So you can have a project with multiple levels that load, different levels, and each level is basically a scene. Each scene is unique. It has its own features, 3D models that are in it, etc. So within this scene that we're in right now, we can drag and drop 3D models into our scene that have come with this package. Much like Blender, you can move them in a XYZ axis. You can rotate them in our inspector window on the right. So you can rotate objects as you need to, move them around, and we can kind of set up our scene. And then once we test our scene, we're going to put our headset on, and our camera is going to begin in that little green box, in that XR rig, and then we can kind of look around our scene. And of course, we're going to be stationary as of right now, but in future videos, we're going to show you how to, create mobility and other neat features in your 3D environment. Now that we're ready to test our scene with our VR headset on, if you can go to the Edit menu at the top and then go to Project Settings. Under Project Settings, there's a lot of different plugin settings we can change within our project. And if you go to XR Plugin Management at the bottom, we're going to select Oculus and or OpenXR, depending on what headset we have, because we want it to be compatible with our headset while we're testing. So you really need to enable that Oculus setting. So there's a little checkbox there under XR Plugin Management. So if you do that, you should be good for testing with your Oculus headset. Alright, in a Ready Player One fashion, let's put our headsets on, get everything set up, get my AirLink connected, and connect to my computer via my desktop. And from my Oculus, I can actually control what's on my computer screen here, and I'm going to hit the play button in the top center of the screen. And when I hit that play button once, it will load the environment in 3D within my headset, and and I can begin controlling it in 3D. And that's it for part one. Part one is all set up. You know, we've set up our different applications. We've tested Unity with our headset. We know it's working. So as we develop our virtual 3D environment, we can test it out as we go along. Part two of this video is going to be all things 3D assets. So yes, this package from Unity does come with some neat 3D assets, but what about all the new things like LiDAR scanning from your phone, taking real objects from the environment and bringing them into this environment, this 3D environment? We're going to do stuff like that, look at nerfs and different things in Blender in our next video so we can bring those objects into our 3D environment. And then in another future video, we're going to do all things Unity. Once we have all of our assets, we're going to bring those assets into a Unity environment that is now up and going here, as you can see, and we're going to create a virtual booth. So please stick around, like and subscribe if this video interests you in this series, and any questions or comments or requests, put them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching.